It looks like it might be, but also looks like it might not be. Properties. I love that song, though. Properties. Default. Micro 4 USB. Is that the right mic? Is that the right mic? That might be the mic right there. How's that? Is that mic better? I don't even know. This is the wrong mic. All right, I think we're good now. Right? Here. What up, boys? Oh, that's how that works. All right, are we on the? Wait, are we on the right mic or the wrong mic?
Now you're on the right one.
Oh, okay. All right, now that's you guys. All right. What's up, boys? How we doing?
Hey,
Doing good?
All right. Now that we got that taken care of. Oh man, we got 7 games. What a break, man! A whole week off. I'm a year wiser, as they say, right? All right. I figured I would be on the wrong mic. Also, that chat background is not vibing. Oh man, what's up, Josh?
hey, how we doing?
Doing all right? Did you have yourself a good All-Star break, recharge, ready for the second half? Potentially, baseball might get a deal done. Oh my, the young blood wants on, huh?
Yeah.
Go. Youngblood plays.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah. So what? Monday is the deadline. We're gonna find out whether it's a season or not, right?
Well, the 28th is the deadline to start on time.
Yeah.
So, then
I hope it starts, man, because when during this All-Star break, I kind of got an idea of what prize pick betting is gonna be like without basketball. And it wasn't good for esports for me. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Donated to prize picks over the break for esports.
Esports was so it started out nice, and then last night I found myself researching disc golf, and I was like, oh god, I need NBA back. I got a problem. I got a friggin' problem. I'm sweating.
A lot of things you can do, guys. With no NBA.
These 3 a.m. League of Legends contests, they just were not it. They were not. Raj, how's Canada treating you this last week?
Good. Living life. We are a fantastic free country, though some people think we don't. I don't know where they get that idea, but yeah, living life, chilling. Had a little break from DFS. Got out a little more. Saw some friends, saw some family. Back on it, did some more work in real life 9 to 5, and now back on the DFS grind a little bit.
Yeah, I basically relaxed. I had a birthday over the weekend, and old people when we vacation, it's a little bit different. All I did, went to a hotel a couple miles down the road, and they had a heated pool indoor. I just spent some time in the pool, and then ordered like $200 dinner and sat around, and that's how I got older. And now we're back. So I don't know what's worth
40.
blowing $1,000 on League of Legends or overpriced steak. I don't know. What's up, chat? Shout out to the live chat right now. Thomas, members of the body, Everton, Skimmer, Mia Moore, Josh plays DFS. Sean V says every video on YouTube has Chalk Donkey Booker the thumbnail. Come on, man. We actually made the thumbnail 2 weeks ago. Everyone else is straight up copying us. No one else would have thought Devin Booker without Chris Paul today could be a good play. What up, Chris Smith, Jay Smooth? Chris says no props today. Good afternoon. Yeah, so we're gonna do game by game. It's 7 games. We're gonna do some props with each breakdown. The prop show will come back, but I didn't want to do a solo prop show. I like the 2 live crew thinking, and I did. Josh had some what is it, dad duties? This guy over here being a father. And so yeah, I ultimately, like, down the road, if I have to, I'll wing some solo prop shows. But I just thought today that since there's a smaller slate, I could combine the 2. So that's what we're gonna do. I think it'll be fun. What up, William Lewis? He made it happen. Parker, Mighty Saint, Nick Tesla. Who else we got? Everyone hates Chris. Lorenz in the chat. Brian Soto. Disc golf is going to be the next big thing. Paul Macbeth's out here signing $1 million deals for the team. So I actually I've been playing Fortnite for a couple years with a nerd from Louisiana. Shout out to Czech. he follows this crap religiously. Like it's his thing. He follows disc golf, and I've the last couple weeks, and they opened up gambling in Louisiana, so I've been trying to struggle with whether or not I want to ruin this kid's life and get him addicted to gambling or not. But I reached out to him for some disc golf advice.
Did I just hear that disc golf has $1 million contracts?
Apparently,
I'm gonna Google this.
$1 million deals with Adidas, so like endorsement deals.
Tell me a disc golf player has an endorsement deal with Adidas.
Hey man, Red Bull be signing the most random people. I can see it, but down here we have random disc golf like courses. That's just like public part. And I don't know. I don't know. I've never tried it. I'm not anti disc golf, by the way. It's just like such an obscure sport.
I just didn't know. Yeah, there was that type of money in disc golf.
Yeah, what disc a Valdo.
For Paul McBeth signing an 8-figure endorsement contract. Oh my god. It's real. 10 years, 10 million guaranteed. Bro, what am I doing wrong in life? What is going on here? Disc golf?
So I don't know. I don't know if it's like it's obviously when I was in high school I did shot put and discus. I don't think it's the same because kids are throwing them like 400 yards or something.
Yeah, but, I mean, you have a basket, you got to get it in whatever par. It's usually like a par 3. So
yeah,
it's fun. Yeah.
What up, Lorenzo? Do we think Trey and Capella can get that pick and roll right against the worst pick and roll defender? Maybe. The thing with Capella is like dunk only, right? What up, Kiefer? What up, Keith? Drinking Red Bull now. Let's go. We got the bang in the house. Chat, you want to see something cool? Watch this. Oh, that's fire. This chat, I don't like the way this chat looks though. It doesn't look smooth. Anyway, super logical. Appreciate that follow. How can I edit this to make this chat look better? Because it looks like absolute garbage. Font settings. Nah, it looks terrible. I couldn't really test the chat because when I'm offline I don't have a chat. And let me see, font settings. Text color, maybe I can make it red. I don't know. Would that do anything? Yeah, I don't know. I think we're just gonna have to deal with it, and I'll fix it in for tomorrow's stream. But of course, this stream brought to you by RunDFS.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS. We run DFS. If you're out there and you had a sub expire after the 18th, I believe last night I went back and added the appropriate amount of time, so that you guys didn't feel like you were getting, you didn't miss out on a bunch of, days that you paid for. So a lot of you guys don't expire till the first or the last day of the month now. God, this chat looks so bad. Oh, I did a bad job about getting that ready. But if I missed you somehow, like if you logged in today and you think that your stuff didn't expire or shouldn't have expired, blah blah blah, let me know. We got that taken care of. If you're not part of Run DFS yet, I would definitely encourage you guys to come get signed up. Go to RunDFS.com, get yourself an account, get yourself a VIP membership. And today we're gonna have that pre-lock voice chat fired up, and we got content, man. We got prop detector going. We got projections live. I've amended the guns player pool tabs, so I'm actually going to export my personal exposure levels from DK and Fanduel to the spreadsheet. So that way, when people are like, I did the tier 1, 2s, 3 stuff like that. Now people can specifically see what the caps I have on players are. So I think that's gonna be a nifty little addition. I'm gonna go ahead and add just like a straight up new chat because that's how much this is bugging me. Chat box, new, add. I don't know if it's. I don't know. We might just have to deal with it. I'm a stickler for this crap, and it's bugging me. It's bugging me. Josh, have you already looked at a bunch of props for today? You excited for this slate?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've been tracking it all week because they posted them early, but they didn't have fantasy points till today, so I'm just going through those right now.
All right, 7 games tonight. You know the drill. Underdog NBA. Shout out to J Fan. John Collins doubtful. Key news to watch, by the way. Larry Markkinen probable for the Cavs. Frank Jackson probable. English doubtful for Gundacker today. Zeke Naji questionable. Lou Williams questionable. Devontae Graham continue to play off the bench. Any other big news for today? Doesn't look like we have any massive slate shaker. So shout out to J-Fan, shout out to Underdog. If you guys aren't following Underdog, you should be, point blank. And then we're going to reference the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet throughout the duration of this stream to get you guys fired up. Big checks need a black back. Yeah, big. I agree. I'm going to fix that tonight, chat. It's an eyesore. I'm tempted to just shut it off, but I will fix it today, and then tomorrow it'll look a lot better, you know. Go and check out your boy John Boy's YouTube. Breaks down a couple disc golf videos. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's wild. It's a thing. Look at going with the clean shave. Must be more. Nah, Keith. You know what happened, Keith? I don't even know if I want it. I told the boys before we went live. I was like, I had a shaving accident. I had bought like a whole new kit, like new blades, new beard balm, new everything, and then like I screwed up, and I was like, well,
Happens.
I can't. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I'll start over. A couple weeks, it'll be back, right? But it wasn't a clean shave. I just I don't know, buzzed it to the bottom. 30 in South Texas, not warm. Yeah, it's literally 30 degrees where I'm at right now.
Is it running blackouts in Texas too?
I've never had that. If that's news to me, if it is.
Yeah, tonight.
It's very possible. We've seen that before. What up, Shark? We've seen that, but like last year during Ice-mageddon, my power never flickered. So hopefully it doesn't. What up, Crispy? What up, James? SGA's back. Yeah, that's definitely very notable. Got a crack pipe in my front yard. Texas freezing weather. God dang. Yeah, that's the worst. When small stuff like pipes are built different. We don't have like ice trucks, assault trucks, stuff like that. So whenever it does happen down here, it happens, and it's a little bit bigger. And then Northerners are like, oh, poor New Texans, they can't handle 30-degree weather, and then we laugh at them when it's 110. Let's talk some basketball. Game number 1 tonight. The Cavaliers at the Detroit Pistons. Project starting 5 for the Cavs. Rajon Rondo, Isaac Okoro, Larry Markkinen, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen taking on Corey Joseph, Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Isaiah Stewart. Should be noted, this is the only game. It's an island game at 7 p.m. So for you guys that are not very interested in this game, which is fair, to 8.5 total, and you prefer late swap or you need a little extra time to upload your CSVs, you may not have any of this game. I don't think that's out of the question. Darius Garland being out, Karis LeVert being out for this game, pretty significant, which is going to open up some opportunity for potentially Rajon Rondo, potentially Jetty Osman, Brandon Goodwin. We've seen them roll out all 3 of those guys in this kind of opportunity without LeVert, without Garland. So I guess this would be one of those. We'll see what Bickerstaff has ready for us when this game gets to tip off. A lot of sites are projecting Rondo right now. Any which way you slice it, whether it be a Rondo, a Osman, or a Goodwin, they're all cheap enough to justify, and they'll probably net back a positive projection. Right now, I do have Rondo here, so if Rondo did play, I put him for like 26 minutes, or did start rather. I'm getting, almost a point per minute plus projection on that, so I would be somewhat interested. The Pistons are also a team that give up plenty of points in the paint, and Rondo's a guy that serves first, right? So maybe a Jared Allen, Evan Mobley profile pretty well here, but I do think generally speaking, the pace of this game is going to be something I'm not running towards, and the total of this game doesn't leave a lot to be desired either. So I could be very, very underweight to downright out on this game. But Raj, I guess I'll throw it to you first. Is there anything standing out for you that you think in the scheme with big tournaments tonight, Cavs and Pistons could be fruitful?
I mean, obviously the Pistons are a team that, if they can keep it close, will be a nice team to target. With Garland out, no Karis LeVert here. I mean, a guy like Cedi Osman, I think, is interesting if he's going to have some point guard duties here. At 4K, if he gets the minutes, I think he's an okay kind of tournament play. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, always in play. You know they're going to see the minutes. 7K for Mobley, 7,600 for Jared Allen. I'm probably leaving Jared Allen here, 7,600. Hasn't had, a past couple games before the break, 29 fantasy points, 22. But this is a spot he can put a 50 burger up in 35 minutes. I wouldn't be shocked at that. On Detroit side, you had Kate Cunningham coming off of his MVP performance in the Rising Stars game, 6,600. Again, Detroit is not a team I want to target against Cleveland, who has a good defense. But I think Kate at 6,600 definitely has some upside.
Josh, let's talk some props, man. This game, maybe not the most fun and lucrative for DFS, but anything sticking out to you on the PrizePicks board? I think I saw you somewhat mention Isaiah Stewart as a potential play today. We'll start with the Pistons side. Anything standing out for you on PrizePicks for Cavs and Pistons?
Yeah, I mentioned them in our. So we have like a section for NBA first half props. Guys like Quinn and others, they're really snipers for finding those good first half props. So I put it in that section as a possibility. It's at 4.5 points, his first half prop. He's been pretty solid with that in the first half. But it's going to require just like maybe 3 putbacks or dump downs to him. It's still risky, and it's never fun attacking the Cavs in the paint. Yeah, I mean overall this game is just for props. It's just not it's not appealing, right? I mean I guess the Cavs. Backcourt defense does take a hit with Garland out and having Rondo potentially starting. So if you wanted, the kind of chase Sadiq Bey's high performance lately, he's been kind of hot from 3 and scoring at a high rate. So I could see that, but there's too many good games on this small slate to go after, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. In the parlay approach, where you want to feel a little bit better, a little bit more fuzzy. When we got games that are literally 240 totals, Memphis and Chicago, 2 games that are offering that, feels like that's where we're going to feel a little bit better about our investments when it comes to props today. Kevin Love is 5,400 on Fanduel. I'd be interested to see if that garners much ownership. The Cavs may need to lean on him a little bit more off the bench to pick up some scoring. And like I said, I do think there's a couple scenarios between Rondo, Jetty Osman, Brandon Goodwin, and it could be annoying to get them right. But I'd more than likely just lean on the starter, and we'll see who that might be. Larry Markkinen back. Don't believe that's going to impact much for me. And then we'll move on to the next one here. Let's get caught up on chat before we do. Shark says, shout out my wife, Marissa Shaw Van Zant, for her 27th anniversary. God dang, 27 years, Marissa. Like that. Oh, what are you doing? How'd you handle this guy for 27 years? Shout out to you.
Doing something right.
I'll toast to that. What up, Neville? What up, Nate? What up, Jermaine? Jim Paris, member of the channel, Jim. Speaking of members of the channel, stay tuned for some news on a potential members-only live stream coming into the rotation here. But I got to do some schematics, some adjustments on that, right? J. Cole says, I took Jeremy Grant points and blocks plus steals. Big money is on the under for the Cavs game. It seems very, I don't want to say appropriate, but it definitely makes sense to not have a guy like Darius Garland represents a lot, right? 10 plus assists, usage rate pretty high, and then Karis LeVert coming in also kind of picking up some of that slack. So definitely makes sense to expect this game to fall short. 208 is already kind of low, so I wouldn't want to be somebody co-signing, jamming unders on 208, but both these teams certainly seem like they could fall shy of their implied total here. Detroit, of course, having one of the worst offensive efficiencies in basketball, and then Cavs are without their captain. So let's move on to the next game. Celtics at the Nets. Projected 35 for the Celtics. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams taking on Patty Mills, Seth Curry, Bruce Brown, James Johnson, maybe Kessler, Edwards, Andre, the Giant, Drummond. 214.5 is our spread, our total, and 9 points spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. Celtics came into town not too long ago and faced a skeleton crew Nets team and absolutely throttled them. Perhaps this Nets team puts up a little bit more of a fight, but it cannot be overstated how great the Celtics have played in the last month and a half. Easily the best defensive metrics in all of the league during that time span, and they arguably got better. Derek White over Schroeder, his on-ball defense, his backcourt defense, really, really good. So this is not an optimal matchup by any stretch of the imagination. I mentioned one game at 7 p.m., well, one game at 7:30, and it wouldn't shock me if you guys weren't that high on this game. So if you wanted to fade the first two games for those CSV uploaders and kind of sit back and hope that, 15 to 20% ownership representing the first two games ends up covering some rake or implied rake. I don't think that's a crazy take. I do think you can make some cases, especially on the Celtics side. The Nets, when they are at full strength, they're definitely a team that's porous on defense, and then without a guy like KD in the mix, replacing their front court with a guy like Drummond, there's certainly some defensive inequities. So I wouldn't hate you if you took some shots on a guy like Derek White. I get him for about 30 fantasy points on the dot on my projection here. Same with Marcus Smart. I'm not really seeing much upside other than Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Here and there, a Robert Williams will get you a big game at 7-8, 7-4, 40-plus fantasy points. So usually going to involve a lot of blocks. And then, the Nets with their current core, they could have lineups that feature Patty Mills, Seth Curry, and Cam Thomas out there, all the guys that are going to shoot from mid to long range. And LaMarcus Aldridge is the same. So I don't even know that I'm expecting a ton of points in the paint, attempts at least, for the Nets here. And I think they're one of the teams averaging amongst the fewest points in the paint per game offensively. I'll double check that with the team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, but Brooklyn is average to minus. So I'm not really running to that, and I also think that they lost a pure point guard that feeds their bigs here. So I definitely can get behind a couple of Celtics here. If you wanted to get to some Nets, I certainly wouldn't talk you off that well. I think Andre Drummond has been at a dangerous price point, but the minutes just have not been there to kind of capitalize. And there's been a couple of games where he's popped in 22 minutes for 40 fantasy points. But this being one of the tougher matchups, I think we can really expect. I don't think I'm going to get to Andre Drummond today if I think the average range of outcome is 22 minutes, 19, 23, 24 his first couple games with the Nets here. I need that 40-plus tournament outcome, and I don't know that I'm getting that here against the Celtics. So this ultimately could be a game I end up having none of. I think I will have shares of Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, never really together. But for the most part, I think I'm out on this game for DFS. I can't really see myself investing in a lot of Nets here. Raj is a 9-point spread. Boston's putting the clamps on teams right now. You have any interest in some Nets players, or are you kind of with me on the lack of excitement?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on, avoiding just kind of playing players against this Boston team, just an elite defensive team right now. A guy like Seth Curry, who's been fruitful. I mean, they're just kind of priced up, even with Kyrie, Durant, Simmons not playing. They're kind of all priced fairly now. So I think the upside is limited against this Boston team, and they're priced accordingly. So a guy like him, Cameron Thomas isn't cheap anymore. Drummond isn't cheap. So I think the Brooklyn side is just a fade for me in this spot against this really good defensive Boston team. And Boston side, I mean, yeah, you mentioned Jaylen Brown, Tatum. At 9-7 with Tatum, I think I'm definitely leading more Jaylen Brown at 8-6. I think they both have, similar upside, and I'll take the $1,000 discount with Jaylen Brown at 8,500. But again, I don't think anybody in this game will be a core piece for me.
Yeah, I think, like I said, chasing some ceiling here on Tatum and Brown, hoping for that 50-point game. It's very possible with one of those two. And just in mass century, I'll kind of keep them away from each other, keep them from touching. I'm not really running to get to this front court for Horford, Williams, guys like that. Josh, is there any leans on PrizePicks we should be cognitive of on this game, or are we waiting a full hour before the slate begins?
Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, this is not one that has a lot of key pieces, right? But if you wanted to get on some Celtics, I think Marcus Smart 4.5 assists is in play. We've seen this all the way up to 5.5, 6 before. and when he's in, he tends to help Tatum distribute the ball a lot. So they have PrizePicks smartened up, and they finally took Tatum's assist prop away, and I think it's been gone for like the last 2 games. So
Did you say 5.5 on Marcus Smart?
it's 4.5 right now.
Wait for it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that take. Matter of fact, just out of curiosity, I'm gonna go pull up Brooklyn in this split here, and yeah, I don't know what I did. My computer's starting to throttle me. Let's put Smart on the court with Jaylen Brown and Tatum. I guess Horford likes to steal some assists too, but Smart on the Brown, Tatum. Kind of get the official assist rate there for Marcus Smart. Man, my computer is like, yo, gun, I'm struggling. 23%.
Why don't they? Why don't they have Robert Williams on here? They just have Horford.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a 23% assist rate. Leads the team in the split with Smart, Brown, and Tatum on the court together. As far as them having Robert Williams, I don't know. They don't. I guess we could see if there's NBA Roto.
They've probably been getting wrecked by him in his rebound props or something.
Nah, there was a stretch where he was out or questionable. Well, let's just double check, see if there's like a lingering tag on him, but could be an oversight. But yeah, he's the guy for fantasy points I usually like to pick on because his blocks add up. So he gets so many blocks, and they add up really quickly here. So I'll load up depth charts. I think I need to add some more RAM to this old computer, man. I'm gonna go download some more RAM, chat. Robert Williams, anything on him? Right calf tightness, not on the injury report. So yeah, it should be a full send. So, but yeah, again, these first 2 games not exciting to me. So I might play with I might fade the first 2 games and load up on the second half. I do feel like I want some shares of Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but yeah. Chat, what do you guys got on that game before we move on? Scott's his gun, Cody Rhodes to WWE. What do you think? If I get to hear Smoke and Mirrors again, I'll be happy. It's a good theme song. But as far as I like Cody the person. I think he thinks he's better than or bigger than he is, but I'm a fan of him. NBA's back. What up, Byron's Journey? Bet slips are on Drummond under assist 3. Smart over 11.5 points and Seth over 18.5 points. You like Seth for more than 18.5 real points? I mean, it gets very viable, but more likely he's gonna have to drain some threes here in this back. All the defense on the Celtics. There's not one spot that I just want to pick on. I guess they're middling in terms of 3-point defense, but they're not something I want to run after. So I'm probably staying away from picking on the Celtics defense for the time being, man. They're on a whole different level. What up, Tarin? You got some prize picks for you, boy? Yeah, but we're going through it. I think these next couple games will be a little bit more juicy for not just DFS, but for prize picks as well, right? Seth Curry over 2.5 threes. Sound good to me. What do y'all think? I definitely think he'll have the volume. It's funny. The other day we talked about how Patty Mills' usage was still highest on the team. He just was not making his shots. He was like 1 for 10, 2 for 11, and then of course he comes out that night and he starts hitting his shots. And then because of him hitting his shots, Seth Curry's volume went down a little bit, but 6 to 9 shot attempts, especially when the Nets start playing from behind, definitely could see the sense of urgency for shooting threes to be a little bit higher. So if you're expecting him to hit threes, it's definitely something he's done in 3 games so far. Wizards were one of the better 3-point defenses in the league. I think on the season averaging the second or third best or least amount per game hitting. So I definitely wouldn't think that's if there was a line to attack, Seth Curry threes seems like one of the more less than uncomfortable lines to attack. So I can get behind that one. Super logical. Let's move on to the Hawks and Bulls. Now the slate begins. Hawks projected starting 5: Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, Danilo Gallinari, Clint Capella taking on Ayo Dosunmu, Zach LaVine, Javonte Green, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. We got a 240.5 total, and the Bulls favored by 3.5 here. is the rundown with John Collins doubtful. Trae Young and Capella might have to work that pick and roll together, as we saw in chat earlier. Because if you've been watching Josh's content, you know Vooch notoriously bad against the pick and roll. But this being a 240 total, I think this is the first game we're going to dive deep in. And we're going to start with the Atlanta Hawks side here and use the NBA Wowie tool from Add More Funds. I'm going to throw Trae Young on the court. I'm going to throw... I guess I'll take off John Collins for sure, and we'll throw on Clint Capella. And Capella had been somebody that before John Collins got injured was actually so much of a liability that he had been losing minutes. He had been playing just 20 minutes a game, being benched in the fourth quarter. And then now that John Collins is out, they've been using him a little bit more. So I do think that his price point, which is at 6,158, is way more susceptible to allowing a big ceiling game for Capella, I'll say. Last couple games, minute-wise for Capella, we're looking at 23, that was a blowout, 31 minutes. So the previous two games prior to the Orlando game, 31 minutes, that was a 10-game high essentially, and the common denominator was John Collins was out. So if we're gonna get Clint Capella at 30 minutes here, it definitely feels much more reasonable to suspect that this price point might be inefficient. We might get high 30s to even 40 fantasy points as an expectation. Going back to that on-off court tool, putting Capella, Trae Young on the court, taking off John Collins. Capella does have a 15% usage rate, but the rebound rate goes through the effing roof, and the point per minute rate is really, really high, almost 1.2 on DraftKings, over 1.2 on Fanduel. Meanwhile, Trae Young, a 38% usage rate, a 46% assist rate, and he's about $1.50 fantasy point per minute. Ayo Dosunmu, known for being a little bit scrappy on defense, but Trae Young, he does not care. This is a upside spot for Trae Young. The total agrees with it. 50 plus fantasy points is my soft projection for Trae Young on both FanDuel and DK. He stands out as one of my favorite point guard plays. Capella seems like a nice handcuff. Guys like Gallo, Herter, Hunter definitely are live or in play. The Bulls side, Zach LaVine coming back after missing a stretch before the All-Star break. On FanDuel, being under AK, probably way too cheap again. We do wrestle with the Bulls having three high-usage guys, the LaVine, DeRozan, Vucevic. Are they priced at a point where they're not going to realize their ceiling, even despite a 240 total? Potentially. I think at over 10K for DeRozan and Vucevic on DraftKings with LaVine under 9K, obviously I'm going to end up with a little bit more LaVine and just hope that guards continue to go off against the Atlanta Hawks here. Atlanta Hawks defensive efficiency is so bad that I can't not have exposure to these guys, but I think I'm going to have to utilize my Fantasy Cruncher group correlation, stuff like that, where I probably don't overlap two of the three. I think I just full send one of the three there and then maybe rotate some of the supplementary plays, but it is kind of an awkward situation to work around because of DeRozan and Vucevic prices getting higher than maybe they should be when they're all three healthy because of that stress before the All-Star break. Raj, what's your favorite plays from Hawks and Bulls? Should be one of the more fruitful games to target with this 240 total.
I mean, yeah. So with no John Collins, being doubtful, I think a guy like DeAndre Hunter or Bogdan Bogdanovic is going to see a little bit of a bump here and can definitely win you a tournament. Bogdan at 5,400 and DeAndre Hunter at 4,500. I think both those guys can give you 30 plus fantasy points. Bogdan approaching 40 in a good spot. I think the fine tournament play. Trae Young 9,900. You mentioned Capella. I think Capella might be a core play. I think with no Collins, maybe the minutes bump. The minutes bump will be there at 5,800. I think he has that 40, 50 point upside still. So I like that. Chicago side, Zach LaVine, Atlanta, bottom 3, bottom 5 against shooting guards. Zach LaVine at 8,700. Seems like getting a little bit of a discount. It could be a 50-point DK spot for him. And I think DeRozan at 10.7 on DK seems a little out of the price range. It's just such an expensive price tag for him to pay. But I think he still get you 50. But at 10.7, 50 probably doesn't get it done.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just a fan of raw points, you think 50, that dog will hunt and won't kill you with the upside there. I don't hate the line of thinking of get him in there if we get some can't miss value. Maybe you're that high on like a Rondo or something like that. But like I said, I think these prices are largely, I'll say egregious, but they're aggressive because of the stretch without Levine here. On the season, we put Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic on the court together. We get a basically staggered, split 25% usage on Levine and DeRozan, 20% usage rate on Vucevic. Vucevic actually leads the trio in fantasy points per minute. Centers will do that, and DeRozan slightly above Levine. So Levine and DeRozan become a little bit closer in terms of quality of play. With DeRozan having the propensity to pop off a little bit, especially late. We notice they tend to let him take over in the fourth quarter. So because of that, like I said, I think Zach LaVine on Fanduel is going to become a play that I just get a copious amount of at under 8K. I'm getting 40-plus fantasy points, but everybody else is kind of priced to the gills. Josh, I think this is time for you to shine, right? I've letting you take 2 games off, but god dang it, we need the PrizePicks fire. Start me on the Hawks side. Do you got any leans on Capella now? Capella unleashed?
I didn't have any leans. I focused on the backcourt, and for good reason, because we have in this game we have 2 of the worst backcourt defenses currently, right? I know the Bulls were good when they had Lonzo and Caruso, but
I think DeSumo grades as a good individual defender, but obviously team defense you can get around that.
Yeah. I mean they've been struggling as a team in the backcourt. So I focus more on the backcourt, and then the forward side, like a DeAndre Hunter, because the Bulls do struggle against forwards. Big forwards, and I think they give up the 3rd most points to small forwards. So I liked DeAndre Hunter's point prop at 13.5. You're getting a 1-point discount from the sports books. I believe DraftKings and Fanduel a couple hours ago had him at 14.5 points, and he's at 13.5 on PrizePicks. So you could get it on that, and probably for Trey's props. So he's at 45 fantasy score. You have him projected for 50. That's kind of, right on the fringe. So I probably feel most comfortable with his points total at 27.5. I think the sports books have him at 28.5. So again, you're getting another point discount. And I think it's right at his season average, I believe, for that 27.5. And like I said, the Bulls are giving up the 3rd most points to point guards over the last 30 games. And actually, they're giving up the 2nd most assists to point guards over the entire season. I know it's high, but I mean, if you want to get on his 9 assists, I get it. I'm probably leaning towards the points.
So we're talking assists here. Let Gun do a little verbal magic here. Trey, I put Collins on, but Trae Young with John Collins on and off the court has a 45% assist rate. I mean, what do you want? Like that's a lot for a 240 implied total. We'll run the query one more time for aesthetics here. But a 9.5 assists, I fully expect, if they're going to live up to a 240 total 3-point spread, it's just not like a 30-10 baseline here. Trae Young at a 40% assist rate. And like I said, it's 39% just straight up. And then when we put Capella on the court, it went to 45%. That's a big assist spot for Trae Young, and it meshes well with all those stats that you just brought up here. So definitely can get behind Trae Young's assist prop. I like that it's at 9 right now. I feel like I could push if it doesn't hit. But if you believe in this total and the spread being what it is, I think 9 assists is, I'm going to say soft, but it's very attackable. It's probably going to be one of my favorite lines right now, and maybe it goes up in a little bit. But I think 9 is definitely the line that I'm attacking for assist here. And then Clint Capella, 30 fantasy points. I think I've got him for 37 fantasy points for PrizePicks scoring. If you agree with his minutes being longer now that there's no John Collins and they can't really afford to bench him like they were doing before John Collins went down. In the couple games of sample size outside of a blowout against Orlando, we've seen him hit 30 minutes. it seems a little bit far-fetched to not expect Capella to get you to get you less than a point per minute. So you can give me Capella over 30 fantasy points, and and it does also correlate well with Trae Young's assist rate. So I can get behind that. What else is standing out here? 3-point defense, not much there. I think Trae Young assists, Clint Capella fantasy points. I can get behind both of those. Did you have any Bulls thoughts?
Yeah, so Zach LaVine, I really like his point prop at 23.5. It's right at his season average. And the Hawks give up the fourth most 3 points to shooting guards and second most point. So yeah, but boy,
he's not a LaVine fan, nope. Yeah.
And then I like Io's assist prop. So the Hawks actually give up the most assists to point guards across the entire season. So I like the correlation of Io's assists to Zach LaVine points.
They're saying ESPN boys and girls. We real people. We got families out here. God dang it.
I don't know if that crowd was a good sign or a bad sign for that pick.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the world telling us, man.
Yeah. Maybe it's like
over.
Your boy's crying. He said, "Don't take a Sumu assist because everyone's in." Right. I don't know. Let's put Sumu on the court with LaVine and DeRozan. I'm more scared. Or I don't know. At least I want to see what the assist rate is for DeSumo with these guys, because now little less minutes expected. I think for DeSumo, right? It's not likely not going to play a straight up 40, right? Kobe White's going to get some run. And then a little less ball dominance. So DeSumu's assist rate goes down to 13% when he shares the court with LaVine and DeRozan. So I probably wouldn't bet that. That's just me. It's just me. Let's get caught up in chat. Lorenzo says, I love Gallo tonight. Gallo's getting a solid projection for me. I didn't put big minutes on him, but I don't mind him, right? Parker says, which LaVine prop looks better to you? Assist at 4.5 or 3-pointers made at 2.5 or points at 23? So it sounds like Josh doesn't mind the 23.5. 2.5 threes. That seems viable here. I don't know. LaVine. Let's go 3-point attempts. When he's getting run 30-plus minutes, 10, 7, 4, 5. We like to see that 7 and 10 a little bit. The Hawks' backcourt defense definitely susceptible. But I do think that 23.5 is viable. I think, on the season, LaVine and DeRozan, usually when they play together, they'll offer you 25 points apiece. And because of this total being 240, there's a little bit more room there. So I think that 23.5, I can lean that over with Josh. So I'll sign up for that as the prop that we'll target for the Bulls here. What was Vucevic's fantasy point prop? It's at 43. That's probably appropriate. I have 46, so not enough margin of difference for me to jump on that. What up, Jason Holland? What PP love we got tonight? I think so far it's just for me, I would take some Trae Young assists, Clint Capella fantasy points. I didn't have anything that I was married to from the first two games, so I probably just start from these two and move on, right? Looking to take down the Thursday comeback shot tournament. Let's go Arizona drama. Dominique Davis, what up, Dom? Young 3-point made looks super nice too. Yeah, he'll chuck. What was it? Was it 2.5 or 3.5? I think I barely glanced at it and ended up scrolling away. It's at 2.5 threes. Yeah, especially so. Josh, you were on Trae Young 27.5 real points. Definitely doesn't seem crazy to expect him to eclipse 2.5 threes. I think Trae Young is getting through the foul line a little bit more lately. Yeah. So 8, 13, 8 free throw attempts. Yeah, 2.5 threes is definitely viable. I like the assist. I think the assist is going to be my line to target here. Io is too volatile for me to trust on PrizePicks, even though the match. Yeah, Quinn, I think I'll stay away from Io just because of LaVine here. Ignore my herder comment. Nah, you're good. De'Aaron Fox just cooked the Sumu defense. Again, individual defensive rates are not as impactful these days. There's a lot less isolation basketball, a lot more screens, a lot more pick and rolls. So on-ball defense is good, but team defense means more to me. That's why a team like the Celtics are just like, they don't have any holes, right? You can get around some on-ball defense. Memphis Grizzlies at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Actually, before we do that, who was it? My boy Shark said, he said, I need to jump into this prize pick stuff. Is it really profitable like people say? Well, first of all, if you're going to jump on prize picks, you should do so using code GUNDACKER when you sign up. If you do so, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. Is as profitable as people say. It's definitely simplified the approach. And if you've been grinding DFS for the last half a decade, like most of you guys in this community have been, the research process is pretty easy transition. And if you're in their Discord, if you're in some Discords, you definitely see a little bit more elementary approaches. A lot of trend chasers, a lot of game log chasers. We do a little bit more analytical approach when it comes to grabbing some of these picks. Obviously, using the on-off core tool from Add More Funds has been part of my process, but it's definitely, it's still kind of a parlay setting. So what I do. What I love to do is I love to grab 4 or 5 of my favorite picks. I'll flex play those, and then I'll also 2-pick power rotate them. So if I grab 5 flex, I'll throw that in a flex, and then I'll have 10 2-pick powers representing my favorite picks there, and that has been a really profitable approach. So if you can continue to be a guy that gets 4 out of 5 right, you'll profit. I think the trick with prize picks, I don't want to say trick, but the key for me and the community that I've been trying to stress to in the RunDFS.com Discord is to maybe not get deer in the headlights on the 10x and look for a little bit more slow roll profit. And what I found that it's actually been a really good replacement for me for old style cash games. I used to be a cash game grinder on Fanduel 5-6 years ago, and then of course that well is kind of dried up because it's so much tougher these days. Well, price is a little bit different. It's a little bit simpler. So if you can get behind the 2-pick powers and appreciate 2-3x your money every night, I do think price picks can definitely be a good transition for you guys. And then just the sweat equity of having to maintain your picks in your lineups. Once your picks are in, you don't have to worry about late swapping to a backup guard because a first stringer got ruled out or something like that, and it just makes DFS that much simpler, and it makes having access to prop betting. It's kind of the bridge for me. In my state, we don't have sports betting, so I've very much enjoyed it. But I can't stress enough that being responsible with what you throw out there. If you're like a Raj and you throw 8 4-pick powers and stuff like that, and you always get one wrong.
I think Josh is the 4-pick guy. I'm more of a 5-pick guy.
That's all I do. 4-pick.
Yeah, Josh is more of a bit of a savage, a little more responsible.
But yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the next game here before we keep it moving. McCall, what up, McCall? Is Chicago or Golden State a good stack or go elsewhere? Chicago's an expensive stack, so if you believe in hitting value, it seems I don't use the word outlandish, but it seems a lot tougher to at these prices that they all coexist for ceiling. I don't know what the McCall. I don't know what you mean or the spirit of your question is. Are they a good stack to just cash and top 40% contest? Sure, if you're throwing a blanket over 320, 25% usage guys with a 240 total, sure. If you're trying to cash a double up, I don't think that's a crazy take. But if you are chasing first place in a tournament, it's probably too expensive to coexist, right? Whatever you think is wrong, play the opposite. What up, Fred? Bump that. I go for the 10x all the time. Come on, Andrew. This is what I'm saying. Quinn says, I made almost 1K in the last 7 days for the All-Star break, and I don't stake more than 20 on a card. That's what I'm saying, Quinn, man. The steady Eddie approach, man, is definitely more fruitful for me. But I understand the thrill of the 10x, but it is what it is. Sadiq Bay points. I think Josh said that would be the one if he had to, but I don't think I'm running that. Gun, I can straight up send you to the reputable spots to bet in Dallas. Reputable? Okay. I get never mind. I'm gonna get some cement shoes when I lose a can't miss March Madness bracket. Phoenix Suns at the Oklahoma City Thunder next game. Oh, no. Memphis Grizzlies at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Project 35 for the Grizzlies. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Zaire Williams, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Stone Cold Steven Adams. It's going to get you one board. What? Up against Patrick Beverly, D'Angelo Russell, crossing over with Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, and the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, Karl-Anthony Towns. 239.5 our total. Another virtually 240 total. A 1.5 point spread, even tighter spread than the Bulls game. So we get two very, very juicy games to attack here. The Memphis, we know without Dillon Brooks, Ja Morant has been the source of so much usage. A lot of times can flirt with 30 real points and go from there. Likely leads the Memphis Grizzlies in minutes played. And then Desmond Bane could be second or third in shot attempts. So we've seen Jaren Jackson kind of step up here and there. I typically like to target Jackson when Ja Morant's not on the court, or if it's a block-savvy matchup. And then Steven Adams, man, he'll flirt with a triple-double in 23 minutes. But Ja Morant, easily the guy that stands out the most for me on the Grizzlies here. I got him over 50 fantasy points right now. And then I could get to a little bit of Desmond Bane. The T-Wolves, kind of a Bulls-esque situation with a big three. That stagger usage 20+% each. D-Russ, Anthony Edwards, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Towns is usually my favorite of the three to target, just because centers give me a little bit more stable floor with the peripherals, and we know Towns is heavily involved. Hard game to read pre-flop, because I do think there's so much volatility within these teams. Do wonder if this is one of those 240 totals where we don't get past one or two guys from each team with a high level of confidence. But I guess, Raj, we'll start with you. Grizzlies and the T-Wolves. Is Ja Morant somebody you can get behind for one of the highest scorers on the slate? I got him for 52 fantasy points on Fanduel, around 50 on DK as well. And then any leans on the T-Wolves? The big three are in. It's hard to predict.
Yeah, so against this Minnesota team, who I think can score a ton of points when the big three are in, but defensively aren't too elite, I think this could be kind of a 40 real life point spot for Ja Morant here. And this game should be kind of, I think this game could approach a 240 total. Could experience could see a 120, 115 type of game here. No Dillon Brooks, Ja Morant show 10-4. I think he can get 60 fantasy points, 40 real life points. So give me all the Ja Morant here in this spot. I love it. When it comes to their big, a guy like Brandon Clark, he's just not seen the minutes, but per minute he's been killing it at 5,100. And against Minnesota, I could see him getting a 30+ here at 5,100, which is fine, but the minutes just aren't there for that to be a comfortable play. I think it's just Ja Morant for me on the Memphis side, who I'm really comfortable with. I mean, if you get to some Desmond Bane, I think it's fine, but at 6,600, it's just not a comfortable click. He does have upside, though, 40+ in 2 of his past 3 games. So upside still there to take that in tournament, but definitely not a core player, someone I'd rely on too much. And Minnesota side, Towns at 9.8, Edwards 7.5, Russell 7.7. Out of those three, I mean, points per dollar, I think I'm leaning Russell in that spot at 7,700. I think all of them have 50-point upside. Russell dropped 46. He's averaging 46 fantasy points in 3 games against Memphis this year. And at 7,200 at the price tag, seems like getting a bit of a discount with the upside he brings in the spot.
Anthony Edwards, 25% usage rate. D'Angelo Russell, 25.6% usage rate. And Karl-Anthony Towns, 27% usage rate. All three of these guys about a fantasy point per minute. D-Russ a little bit higher. And Cat at 1.3. I guess it's worth putting Beverly on the court to tighten up this split just a little bit more. Obviously, there's going to be staggered rotation throughout the game. But I think every time I split it, Cat stands out above the rest. And this has been a tough matchup for centers, the Memphis Grizzlies. But Cat is one of those non-traditional centers that could stretch the court a little bit more. And I think the further away Steven Adams is from the paint, same with Jaren Jackson Jr., I am interested in the viability of Karl-Anthony Towns. The other thing I would like to note is that the Minnesota Timberwolves are bottom 10 in points via the three ball, and if they're going to maybe restrict some interior scoring a little bit more, Minnesota allowing 12.9 3-pointers a game past Ja Morant, we might look at Desmond Bane to pick up some of that glory from that metric that features more success via the three ball. 12, 3, 6, 7, 4. It's viable that in a 239.5 total, Desmond Bane could take double-digit shot attempts, all from behind the arc. So I don't mind looking his way. Like you said, 40-plus fantasy points is a range of outcome. And his peripherals have not been zero, I'll say. A couple rebounds, a couple of assists that could attack on to potentially high 20s in real points. So I do like Desmond Bane as the secondary play to Ja Morant, but Ja Morant clearly my favorite Grizzly to target here. Jaren Jackson Jr. just might be priced right outside of comfort levels for me. I don't hate the thought of getting a little piece of him just because of the total, and we know he'll probably have over a 20% usage rate, but I don't feel the best about his minute projection. I will say blocks per game allowed, Minnesota is top 5 in terms of surrendering blocks, and that's right up Jaren Jackson's alley. He might lead the league in blocks when it's all said and done. So if you think maybe he can get into one of those quote-unquote fake block games where he gets 3-5 blocks, maybe more so from a Fanduel or a PrizePicks standpoint, I don't think that's a crazy a click here. 3 games against the T-Wolves this season, he's averaging 31 fantasy points on DK, 3 blocks per game, however, in those 3 games. So 9 blocks in 3 games. Maybe we'll bring up StatMuse, put a little bit more substance to those 3 games, 30 minutes a game. So maybe some game he played 25, one game he played 35. So Jaren Jackson, let's go FTP by game log versus Timberwolves. Last 5 games. I think what I'm most worried about is potential foul trouble, him dancing with Cat here and there. But he's got a 43, a 20, and a 33. Obviously, the most recent game is what we want. The 20 real points and the 5 blocks was Ja Morant in for this one. Player stats. Memphis, Ja Morant did play that game. So did Kyle Anderson. So there is an outcome for 40-plus on Jaren Jackson. So if you're a mass multi-entry guy, it seems like we wouldn't want to completely forget Jackson's viability today. So I think I put him in the mix here. Put him in the blender, so to speak. But for me, it feels more like a Fanduel play than anything just because we're leaning on the stocks here. He's averaging over 3 stocks per game. Josh, from a PrizePicks standpoint, again, another 240 total. Is there any lines that stand out to you? We'll start with the Grizzlies side and work our way over to Minnesota. Any Grizzlies on PrizePicks we should be thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, you would think there'd be a lot more plays that stood out from this game with the high implied total, like the Hawks Bulls game, but everything just seemed priced appropriately when I first looked at it, and I tracked it along the days, and everything's pretty much stayed the same. The one thing I can get on, I'm with Raj on Morant. You can always get on his points total. So he's at 28.5. He got up to almost 30 because the sports books have him at 29.5. So that's probably the one I probably feel the most comfortable with on the Memphis side. It's pretty high, but it's just like a Trey's point prop to it, which is 27.5. So you're hoping for a high scoring game, obviously, and fast pace with these guys. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, everyone else is, like I said, priced appropriately, fantasy score wise too.
That's annoying. I guess they've had 7 days to get this game right.
Yeah.
Ja Morant's coming off a game where he took 25 free throw attempts. That's nuts. Prior to that, he's getting between 8 and 10 free throw attempts. The reason I bring that up is because Ja Morant, he drives to the rack, and I think he's one of the league leaders in points in the paint, and that's saying a lot because he's a friggin' point guard. Doesn't chuck a lot of threes. Guy like Jared Vanderbilt, maybe a Tarin Prince, guys like that, maybe a little hack happy here. Are we getting anything on his free throw prop? 5. Let's see. What is Let's see. Jared Vanderbilt fouls per 36. How about that? What are we getting at Vanderbilt? We're getting 7.5 fouls per 36.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that call. Timberwolves give up the most free throw attempts in the league, so.
Okay. My YouTube channel is validated. Let's go. So yeah, maybe we flirt with Ja Morant's free throw.
Yeah, I'll add that. Yeah.
All right. It's still a little dangerous because sometimes he's not young enough to get that call. But certainly Bo is interesting. And then the other thing I was doing here was advanced on-off court tool. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane on, Dillon Brooks off the court. Ja Morant 35% usage, Desmond Bane 23.5%. That would be second on the team with 41% of that involved in shooting three-pointers. I was wondering if they would give us a 3-point prop on Desmond Bane. It looks like they have not. Maybe one will come later. I'd be looking for 2.5. I think that would be too soft of a line for them, so we probably don't get that. And then Steven Adams rebounds, somebody asked. He has been a monster per minute lately, and even as somebody that doesn't project for deep minutes because of how talented that front court is, he's still averaging over 9.5 rebounds per game. So I guess he's somebody worth looking at. His recent history against the T-Wolves. So we'll go Steven Adams, FTP by game log, last 5 games. We'll focus on the couple games this season. 2, 3, and 12 rebounds. So I wonder if that really this season, 3 and 2 rebounds, 18 and 19 minutes. Is it foul related or just like not getting 2-2? So I minus 21, minus 17. So maybe they end up stretching Jaren Jackson a little bit more because Steven Adams is more traditional in terms of defense. So maybe I don't take the Adams rebound prop here. But obviously, if you liked it, you got that feeling in your bad knee with the storm coming in, I wouldn't talk you off of it. Let's get caught up on chat. Duck says Gary Payton tonight. We're going to be talking about some Gary Payton here in just a minute. Thomas, what? Booker, Bane, Edwards, Jokic for all the money. Let's go. Roy says, college basketball PrizePicks is a thing. So is League of Legends. So is CSGO. So is disc golf. I tried to play. I didn't try to play. I put action on women's Australian basketball during this 7 days off. Guys, I did some things I'm not proud of during this off stretch, man. I'm so thankful NBA's back. Please, MLB, come back. This 1 week a year, like next at this pace, I'll be like betting on, I don't know, lawnmower racing when it's all said and done. They have a farming simulator. That's an esport. I'll be betting on that at this friggin' pace. So, I don't know. Austin says, got a good feeling about Anthony Edwards tonight. Yeah, D-Russ Edwards, one of those guys is always like, it's kind of like, it's a much more volatile Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum situation where they could both suck because of how volatile the team is. Whereas Tatum and Brown, it does feel like more often than not one or the other, or at least they both have average games. Edwards had a tough stretch before the break. I think it was related to a shoulder injury or something like that. Well, I don't know if he's still favoring that, but certainly could see him pop in here. The Memphis team defense past Ja Morant still pretty strong. Defensive rating 108.8. Ja Morant's the clear hole here, so yeah. The Patrick Beverley, by the way, about 30 fantasy points on him. They extended him. I'm expecting him to be a big piece of this team going forward, maybe pushing 30 minutes a game. Did we get a line on Beverley that's less than 30 fantasy points? I don't think so. Also, they gave us a Tyus Jones line, but they didn't give us a Robert Williams line. That's funny. Let me see. Beverley, Timberwolves. Sometimes we can get Beverly at a decent block and steal or fantasy points. They gave us Beverly at 20.5 PRA. 20.5 PRA and a 240 total? Maybe. What else we got in chat? Living with Damron says 110, I come back. So you're saying if we got 110 likes, Damron, you come back? We're at 65 likes on 219 viewers. And I guess I got to let you guys know about the records, man. 327 concurrent is the record. 189 So if chat, we probably don't hit the concurrent viewer record, but we might hit the most live-like record. But it involves you guys, the team effort. So if you guys smash that thumbs up, you're vibing out, you're enjoying life right now, I would appreciate it. Engaging with the channel, engaging with the videos mean a lot. But heck, 100 and less than 120 of them will get Damron out of retirement. And then, heck, we got enough people. We do have enough people to set the like record. It's up to you guys. But hit that thumbs up, man. Show some love, and we'll be great. What up, Adam? Hey, Gun, just got home from getting my tonsils out. Feels like a pretty straightforward slate. Getting your tonsils out. Man, you get some ice cream, right? That's the ice cream pass. Let's go. Edwards has really good success against the Grizzlies in the past. Fairly small sample size. Yeah. Do you think Elfrid Payton or Aaron Holiday will start? I think I saw Elfrid Payton was out. Or no, that was Cameron Payne. I don't know. I have Aaron Holiday right now. Elfrid Payton seems to be literally on a shelf and get his number called in worst case scenario. So I don't know for sure, but I know a couple of sites are reporting Aaron Holiday. Ultimately, it would be Devin Booker's show, but right now I got Aaron Holiday. Do you think Edwards likes the ball against the Grizzlies? Good track with him. Maybe Edwards versus Ja Morant, a little bit of young blood narrative. I could see that. Let's move on to the next game. Suns and the Thunder. Projected starting five for the Suns. Aaron Holiday, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton taking on SGA. He's back. I'm back. Josh Giddey, Aaron Wiggins, Darius Baisley, Isaiah Roby. Notable outs for this game. Chris Paul, healthy enough for the All-Star game. Not healthy enough for the second half of the regular season. It feels like it was a matter of when, not if. He's one of my favorite players, and there's always some injury that eventually shows up. But hopefully he can come back for the playoffs, because I had some Suns for the finals exposure. On the Thunder side, Lou Dort listed as out. Also, Ty Jerome, Muscala, JRE, and Kenrich Williams listed as out. But with SG back into the mix here against the Suns defense that may take a little bit of a hit without Chris Paul. Wonder if he's going to be viable, if he's going to be off the chain. And then Josh Giddey has earned a price point of $7,400 on FanDuel, $8,400 on DK. A lot of this directly correlated with the absence of SGA, so maybe we'll do a little bit of diving into that. And of course, this front court has been a carousel. It's an 8 p.m. game, so an hour after main slate locks, a little bit sooner than usual for a Suns game. Expect big ownership on Devin Booker. Let's go pull off that on-off court tool via Add More Funds, the NBA Wowie, and let's put Booker and Ayton on the court. And this is probably a split that we can elongate on to last season if we have to, if we don't like our sample size here. And let's take off Chris Paul as well. And we get numbers suggesting that Devin Booker will have over a 30% usage rate, over a fantasy point per minute, over a 1.1 fantasy point per minute, and DeAndre Ayton a 22% usage rate, almost 1.4 fantasy point per minute. It's only 101 minutes, so I do think it is at least fair to dial it back, but I feel like the numbers are going to be somewhat consistent. With Ayton, I like the spot for him. I just do worry about perhaps that front court being a little bit cluttered with Bismack Biyombo and JaVale McGee likely to get some minutes here and there. But let's elongate on this split here. Let's go to the beginning of the season in 2020, and we definitely get more minutes here, over 700 minutes of sample size, essentially the same team. Devin Booker, still over 30% usage rate. DeAndre Ayton, a little less than 20%, but still over a fantasy point per minute. And the rebound rate, still pretty high. So I think against the Oklahoma City Thunder, first of all, we love bigs against the Thunder. They have been one of the most poorest teams to fantasy points and defensive peripherals to opposing bigs. If we go bring up that team metrics, team DVP chart, OKC is allowing the third most fantasy points per game to opposing centers behind just Sacramento and Houston. And then, of course, they are allowing, I believe, the most blocks per game. Don't quote me. They might be second to the Grizzlies. Yeah, they are second to the Grizzlies. Why do I know this? 6.3 blocks per game allowed. So it's a big spot for DeAndre Ayton, potentially because of the absence of one, Chris Paul, but two, the block stock should go up. And then, of course, it's just a super good matchup for him. He's 7K on FanDuel, under 7K on DK. I'm looking for the north side of 40 fantasy points to think I got a bargain in tournaments. I think I do. So I do like DeAndre Ayton here. I think he's a good handcuff to Devin Booker. I think where it gets a little bit blurry is what do we do with Aaron Holiday? Is Elfrid Payton going to get some run here? Is it worth going them over like Rondo? Do we put them all in the blender and then also get the ultimate studs and scrubs combo, Landry Shamet's in the mix as well? Is that going to be a thing? Or is it just one of those things where Devin Booker and Ayton do so much that everyone else is largely irrelevant in still a 10-point spread? I think all those scenarios are live and proper ways to think about this game. Raj, I'll throw it to you here. Is Devin Booker a core play for you? I got him for 50 fantasy points, 51 fantasy points on FanDuel, about 50 on both sites here. I might have to double check to make sure that's pulling the right feed. I feel like you should be having more DK points, but Devin Booker comes in as a top 3 fantasy point play for me, with his price being south side of 9K. Is this an easy click, easy core play? Is it a chalk block, or do you want to get a little bit creative here and fade the field?
No, I probably want to be double the field in this spot. I mean, with no Chris Paul, it's a big usage spot for him, and it allows OKC to just keep the game closer. I don't think people realize how big of an impact Chris Paul has in this Phoenix Suns team being super elite. I think OKC is going to keep this game a four quarter game, especially with SGA back. Don't expect a blowout here, so I think Devin Booker's gonna have to do it all. Probably 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 assists. I think definitely over 30 real life points. Could be pushing 40 here. He's going to do it all. I think DeAndre Ayton too. He's been on a little bit of a minutes limit pre All-Star break. 25, 30, 27. I think it's a spot he could see 35 minutes. Great spot against OKC. They're giving up the most rebounds or second most rebounds teams to opposing centers. So DeAndre Ayton at 6,900 and Devin Booker, I think, are core pieces for me. A tier 1 all the way. I think if you even want to throw in a Jay Crowder at 4,700 or Jay Crowder, let's see, Torrey Craig at 4K. He's not 23. It's probably not Torrey Craig. Okay, it's just Booker and Ayton for me, and maybe some Jay Crowder as a third guy who could possibly have a big game here. And the OKC side, I think SGA is interesting at 8,900, coming off big break. I think he has 50-point upside in any spot. He dropped 46 on Phoenix last time, this time with no Chris Paul. So I like the spot for SGA too.
Yeah, the one thing I'd be watching for SGA is a potential minutes limit. I don't have anything tied to that right now. That much time off. It was an ankle injury. Don't know if his wind is right, where his cardio is at. Obviously, he's had plenty of time. So if verbiage came out that said he was on a minutes limit or something like that, certainly would feel less than great to roster that on a slate that gives us so much potential in the guard position, not only in this game alone. I mean, think about it, he's more expensive than Devin Booker in the same game on both sites, but we also have the Levines, the Morants, the Trae Youngs of the world. So would be a risky click if he didn't come with or if he did come with a limit, or even if there wasn't anything that cleared it up to make me feel like there wasn't one. What is going well for him? No Lou Dort, no Ty Jerome, so the guard rotation feels a little bit thinner. But Trey Mann in the mix for a little bit of run here on the front court. Darius Bazley, I'd been targeting him preceding the All-Star break. He's moved close to 7K. It's still a tough defense. Yes, Chris Paul does represent a lot. I guess I would be curious to see what's the official. Let's see, Phoenix Suns defensive rating without Chris Paul this season. I don't know that he's missed a ton for this to give us 119. That's only 2 games. Let's go last two seasons. Oh, 119. So the team defensive rating, there's no sample size to it. So, but it is logical to suggest that the Suns' team defense is a little bit worse without Chris Paul out there. With that said, the Oklahoma City Thunder is like the worst offense in basketball, right? It's like them, the Magic, their offensive efficiency with and without SGA has been dog water all year. They have the worst offensive rating. So I almost wouldn't even be results oriented on this game if the Suns do win by 20 on the Thunder, and then you go into the next game without Chris Paul down the stretch, still kind of remember that the Thunder suck on offense. So potentially some regression coming to the Suns defense. But it's hard to like any of these. Like Josh Giddey's new price point's a little bit up there
I think he's
as
a
well.
possible to get with SGA back. There's no way I'm paying 8K plus with SGA back.
I probably agree. I was Aaron Wiggins, Trey Mann. I guess Aaron Wiggins is the cheapest of the bunch, but yeah, no confidence, no conviction in any of these plays. Isaiah Roby as a center for 20 plus minutes under 4K is a little bit interesting. Josh, let's put on our PrizePicks glasses and look at the Suns here. They have had plenty of time to correctly price Devin Booker, and I guess this would be the caveat, I guess, to PrizePicks here. Normally they have to react day by day. They only have so much time to adjust. They've had a whole week to adjust, and we knew about the Chris Paul stuff before the All-Star game that Chris Paul played in. Figure that one out. Have they over-adjusted? Have they overcorrected? Or do you think there's still some meat on the bone for the Suns, more so Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton?
Oh yeah, there's still meat on the bone. I mean, they got to the price point I predicted they would get to, which was 28.5. It opened at 26.5, and I jumped on that early with those 26.5, and so yeah, I mean 28.5 it's still doable. I mean, just due to the amount of usage he's gonna have and the matchup. But Ayton's props, I mean, they just all pop out to me. So. I really like his 10.5 rebound. Like Raj said, OKC is just really bad on the glass against bigs. His 1.5 block and steal, because like you said, they give up a lot of blocks. You get on that. His 33 fantasy points. I mean, that's only 3 more than Mikal Bridges at 30 fantasy points, and you have him projected for 41 fantasy points. I mean, if he's gonna rack up blocks and steals and get the rebounds points, he might as well just throw a net over all of it and do the 33 fantasy points. And last one I like is his 8.5 first half points. I think he'll come out aggressive and put up points quickly. So, I mean, I really like all of them. And Mikal Bridges, I could get on his 23.5 PRA because he should fill the stat line with CP3 out. So. Yeah,
and Bridges, we talk about how bad this matchup is. Bridges has, 40 minutes of equity per game right now. 40, 33, 30, 39. Of course, the 33 and 30 correlated with, a blowout in Orlando. And the Clippers game, I'm not sure why he only got 33 minutes in that game, but very live to play 40 minutes is Mikal Bridges. So if you're going to get 40 minutes of opportunity against a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, who, by the way, without Lou Dort, their defense can take a little bit of a hit. I don't hate that 23.5 PRA. Needs to be, a little less than a PRA per minute. So I can get behind that. So Bridges PRA, DeAndre Ayton, everything. Devin Booker, the 28.5 feels appropriate. I do think, if he gets 30, 40 real points, I'm definitely not stunned. What makes this better? Do we expect him to just pull up from what they say hell no range? Let's see.
Curry range. Pull up the Curry
that's what I kind of want to lead into here. So let me go cross reference the metrics here. 3-pointers, points via 3-point allowed. Oklahoma City Thunder are top 8 in terms of 3-pointers allowed. So do we expect Devin Booker to take 8 to 12 shots via the 3-ball today? 5, 6, 9, 8. Not excessive enough to I wanted to get a softer number on Booker to where I'm not sweating 28.5 points, but 2.5 threes might still be up there. So I guess I can get behind fantasy points, but real points is probably what we expect for Devin Booker. So I guess but I'm with you, 8 and everything. And then I don't. So we don't like the Thunder, but is there any viability in some unders for Josh Giddey?
Yeah. That's my favorite on the Thunder side for sure. His 15.5 points. I mean, that's way too high with SGA back, right?
I'm thinking so. Let me go pull up SGA and get
He
SGA
averages
is
12 points a game with SGA playing. So
Yeah,
I mean, I would expect
guess
people to take more shots.
Lou Dort's the wild card here because Dort
yeah,
could be
true.
18 shots. Let me see.
Basley's also been taking a few more shots lately too. He's had a bigger role on this team lately, but I don't know if that's because SGA's been out or if that's actually
Right.
I mean, he's also just playing a lot more minutes, and they don't have the same center. So, Giddey, I put Giddey at SGA on, took off Lou Dort. Giddey has a 26% usage rate, a 30% assist rate. Looks like a lot of his usage is tied to the assist. But yeah, I guess it feels fair. I don't know. Let's Josh Giddey. DKP.
His assist is at 6.5 if you want to get on that.
Alexander, last 10 games. Giddey's so weird, man. He's such a dynamic player. Let's look at his real points with SJ last 10 games. 15. There's a 21 in there. There's a 19 and 18. Phoenix being Phoenix. I don't know, man. Maybe I just washed my hands with the whole situation, but it does feel like I want some unders. What do I got him on fantasy points? So fantasy points, I've got Josh Giddey at I got him at 40. God dang it! I'm trying to sell myself on something here for the Thunder, but there's no warm and fuzzies.
Maybe it's just a fade.
Maybe SJ's at 1.5 threes. Not even warm and fuzzy on that one. All right, chat. What are you guys doing with this one, if anything? Booker's going to be 100% owned. Yeah, maybe in like cash and single entry for sure. I don't know. Maybe in big entries, probably like a 40% play. But I don't have a pulse on ownership. But it seems like a obvious play. Bridges goes off tonight. I'm calling it. Let's go, Kiefer. What up, Jason? Open the slate. See some guy named Trenton Walford. I'm out. Come on, man. What up, Josh Gilham? Brody in the chat. Women's Euro prize picks has been profitable. Kazar Khan says Raj is sexy. Where is Raj? He just disappeared on me. I looked up. He's gone. He's getting swatted. SGA over points. Maybe Giddey should smash on the assist, though. The assist percentage in this split definitely makes sense for Giddey. So metrically, I guess it's justified. I think for me personally, I probably just don't bet the Thunder today. I like to be super, super selective with what I'm putting action on in a parlay setting, but I wouldn't take you off of it. If we're at SGA points, Brody, I'm just worried about minute restriction. If there's nothing that comes out that says he's on one, then I think his usage should be sky high, right? Roby got any picks? Doesn't look like it. Is Booker chalky? Yeah, for your money, Booker's definitely going to be pretty trendy without Chris Paul. Would I fade Booker? In how many lines, I guess, would be the question. And me personally, being a multi-mass entry guy, I'm not fading Booker. I don't have a pulse on where the field's going to be at. Right now, I'd probably just kind of expect 40% and go from there. And at 40%, like I said, I got him as a top 3, top 4 fantasy point scorer on the slate right now as is. And at that price, I wouldn't want to be on the other side on the opposite side of the train tracks coming in against a Booker train, So I would not. I definitely probably wouldn't fade him in smaller field either, unless I was, trying to jump. Like if it was a 5,000 entry, $1 single entry or something like that. You know what I mean? Where the field is a lot larger and I got to get a little bit different. I do think there's pivots in terms of upside at the guard position today. We talked about John Morant, Trae Young's, guys like that. D-Russ, Edwards have some volatile upside. We'll have Steph Curry, Anthony Simons. That's why I'm not super sold that Devin Booker's like an egregious 80% own or something like that because of how stacked the guard spot is today and how we don't really have a ton of centers, right? So, I don't know. And we got a lot of value centers, too. I think we got some we all agree that DeAndre Ayton seems a little bit underpriced. Anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, 2 things, man. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that sub button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we are running towards 7K subs. A week off definitely hurt the production. We're at +6, +7 subs already for this stream. So shout out to you guys that are new to the channel and hitting that sub button. And if you're wondering if you can get access to the spreadsheet that I'm using and have been using for this stream, the answer is yes. It's powered by RunDFS.com. If you go to RunDFS.com, click VIP memberships, find a pass that's right for you. Maybe just try it out for a week, see what you think. Every pass that we have comes with a credit towards a Fantasy Cruncher subscription. Then, of course, you get access to the spreadsheet, which has an easy-to-navigate, easy-to-read index portal, help you break down each game, my personal player projections, the player prop projections. Josh has been maintaining the prop detector tab, highlighting our favorite props to attack with a little bit of a price pick spin for it. And then I've recently adjusted the Guns player pool tab, so I'm going to have a tab for DraftKings and Fanduel that's going to reflect my personal exposures and my personal player pool for both Fanduel and DraftKings tonight. So all stuff that you don't have to tailor or anything like that, but if you wanted to reference yours to mine, it'll be there. So you can go to RunDFS.com, get yourself a subscription, and come be part of the team. Most importantly, if you subscribe, get into the RunDFS.com VIP Discord, and after the party, it's the after party, and after the party, it's the Discord lobby. I'll be in the NBA voice chat right here for at least 2 hours before lock. Hopefully, we can keep this young buck under control. I know there's going to be some controversial topics that people in the Discord might want to talk about with the 7-day absence. So, I'll do my best. But nonetheless, it is part of my daily process. We got 2 games left on this slate to chop up. We got the Golden State Warriors at the Portland Trail Blazers. Josh's Golden State Warriors. Projected starting 5 with Steph Curry, Gary Payton, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Kevin Looney taking on Anthony Simons, CJ Ellaby, Josh Hart, Justice Winslow, and Trendon Watford. We got a 227 total, a 10-point spread in favor of the visiting Golden State Warriors. The Blazers recently announcing that Yusuf Nurkic is going to miss a stretch of time. Feels like full-on tank mode here, but 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, I guess. This team that traded for Bledsoe. Bledsoe's down. Obviously, Nurkic joining Lillard on the out list here. This becomes an ugly collection of names to feel great about. But prior to the All-Star break, we have seen Anthony Simons, Josh Hart, and Justice Winslow all fill serviceable fantasy roles. So I'm curious, Josh, if you have some leans on them for really DFS tonight, for real life standpoint, and then on Golden State, since it's your expertise here. 9,300 for Steph Curry on FanDuel. That is cheaper than some of the aforementioned guards like Trae Young, John Morant, guys like that. And, he has every bit of potential to hit for 50. If you're worried about a shooting slump, maybe that All-Star game gave him a little bit of get right out there in Cleveland. What did he hit, 16 of them? Nuts. So Josh, I'm going to throw it to you for this game.
All right.
What are you expecting from Warriors and Blazers tonight with a 10-point spread?
Yeah, I mean, if Nurk was playing, I would have jumped all over his props. So I was kind of disappointed that he's out. It could also just change the overall game script. But, Blazers have been, like you said, they've been scrappy. I could see them keeping it close. It's in Portland. And, since it's in Portland, I'm probably going to lean towards Klay because he grew up there. He's made it pretty well known that he gets up for these Portland games. He still has friends and family there. I could just see him taking a lot of shots here. They still don't have his 3-point prop back yet. I think they just pretty much are done with that one and learn their lesson. So you're gonna have to go. I would probably jump on his point prop. It did open at 17.5, but it's at 18.5 points now. And then I guess Steph. You could get on it, and see if his shot's back. But I'm leaning more towards Klay because of that narrative and just his passion to play in Portland. And then on the Blazers side, I really like Hart, PRA at 28.5, and then I can even get on his rebound prop. So his rebound prop opened at 6.5, and then they immediately bumped it to 8, but it looks like it's now back down to 7. It's down to 7.5. I could definitely get on that because the Warriors have just really been struggling to rebound as a unit lately. And then, yeah, I mean, probably other than that, I guess you can look at some Winslow. But who do you guys think is the biggest beneficiary with Nurkic? But obviously besides Drew Eubanks, and he's not on the prop cards.
Trendon Watford. It's him and Greg Brown also. But obviously, the backup bigs here. So some sites looking for greatness from Watford. I don't know what to expect from his front court. I do remember it wasn't that many weeks ago I played Greg Brown over Alexei Pokusevsky and missed out on a bink. But Watford's been a guy that has been involved 15, 20 plus minutes. So his per minute production average at best. Sometimes he spiked. Not running to get to him. I do think that front court becomes murky, and I'm hoping to maybe just sell out for some floor, some stability, some upside. We got Sabonis, we got Jokic on the slate coming up. DeAndre Ayton stands out for a lot of us, so I'm hoping to not get there, but maybe Chauncey Billups will give us a little bit more clarity here. I did run a query on the on-off court tool here. I tried to run Winslow, Simons, Hart with Nurkic off, and there was one possession of that split. So I'm going to leave Nurkic on for this split. And in 72 minutes, 141 possessions, Simons has a 31% usage rate, 1.3 fantasy points per minute, with Nurkic at a 29% usage rate. So that's what we're trying to replace here, that 29% usage. And I don't know about you, Josh, but I don't know that I trust and believe in Watford or Eubanks or whoever to pick up the slack here. So I don't think I think I move it to a Winslow or a Josh Hart. Or we just expect that team to not be good and get smacked by the Warriors here. So I guess Simons is the question that I got. 7,600 on FanDuel probably gets lost in the applesauce because of all the ceiling potential in the guard position today. Is there a 50 fantasy point outcome for Anthony Simons at 8-1 on DK, under 8K on FanDuel? We had seen 46, 47, 50 fantasy points his last 3 games. Memphis, Milwaukee, New York. New York, a slow-paced team. Milwaukee, a little tougher on defense. Of course, they allow most of their points allowed via the 3-ball, and that's right up Anthony Simons' alley. And then if the Blazers fall behind here, 10-point spread against the Golden State Warriors, Anthony Simons might just chuck it, right? That might be where that 29% Nurkic usage goes, and we might get like a 20-30 shot attempt game from Simons at the house. Do you have any interest in Simons, I guess, from a DFS standpoint, and then maybe on PrizePicks either?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. If you think this game is going to stay close, it's definitely going to be, he's going to be a big reason why, right? He's going to have to carry the load. So, yeah, I get it. And the point prop is probably the one I like the best. I mean, 22.5 is pretty low if you think he's going to carry the team. So, yeah, I could get on that. But, I mean, the Warriors lately haven't been blowing teams out. So, I'm just curious to see how they look coming off this All-Star break. They really needed a break, so it's kind of a wait and see.
Klay Thompson, 6,200 on FanDuel. 30 minutes is a reasonable expectation. You mentioned the narrative surrounding him tonight. I think on FanDuel that price stands out. Raj, what do you do with Blazers and the Warriors?
For the Blazers, I think when it comes to their center position, no Nurkic, I think there's definitely some spots to attack there. I mean, is Trenton Watford, is he viable? I know he just signed. I think Josh Hart will be a core play for sure at 7,200. I think he's going to have to lead this team not only in scoring along with Simons, but rebounding, playmaking, have to do it all. So I don't mind paying the 7,200 for him. You guys already mentioned Simons. 8,100 is a tough price tag to pay. But like I said, the Warriors with no Draymond are a different team defensively, so I don't mind that price tag for him. But I think Watford's interesting, whether we trust it or not, at 3,400.
Yeah, like I said, they also picked up Eubanks from the Spurs. Eubanks not in the player pool, so like what's potential of Eubanks? if he played 23 minutes, Watford played 25. It could be enough for everyone to not really matter at the end of the day. And, maybe the Warriors forced to go small anyway. You might get some Winslow stretch. I don't know. It's a little bit weird.
Plays 30, though. I think he can be like a key guy in the slate.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to do a whole lot at this price point to be viable. So if I have him for a pretty solid projection per dollar, 6x, 7x, 8x, really 8x here on both sides. So I don't hate the thought of it. All right. If you think it's a Klay Thompson night, Josh, I'm gonna give you the words that our dear friend Chronic loves. Steph Curry assists 6.5.
Yeah, right. I mean, this would be the perfect spot for it, though, if, like, no Nurk in the paint. So, I mean, there could be a lot of points or scored in the paint that are dished from Steph. It just depends if his shot's falling, right? Which is that you're going to roll the dice every night. Because he's going to shoot early and a lot. She's going to shoot a lot early, so if they're falling, then that assist prop's not looking good, so...
Looks like Eubanks got added on FanDuel. Shout out to the chat for that one. I pulled my CSV last night, so I guess it happened since then. I'll have to go back and update that. Appreciate that, chat. Simon's going to have to be the offense for Portland, but Gary Payton III is going to be all over him. Hate taking players against Payton defense, says Jeremiah Robinson. He's also a little bit of foul-prone guy. But, yeah, I agree with that general assessment. It does feel... The main reason I'm interested in Simons here is I just have a hunch that maybe for his usage, he goes under-owned because of how much upside is at the position. And, maybe that makes him a little bit more lucrative in tournaments here. We got one game left on the docket for Do That. Remind you guys, if you're on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker. That's how you guys can get at me. And if you haven't jumped on PrizePicks yet, I encourage you guys to try it out, man. A 1-to-1. What's $20 doubled instantly if you sign up using code Gundacker gonna cost you? It is a site where you can parlay prop bets, and also a little bit different than the sports books. You can bet against fantasy points, and if you're a FanDuel centric player, their fantasy points is the same scoring as that official NBA model that FanDuel uses, that Yahoo uses. So your projections can be 1-to-1 if you currently curate your own projections, or if you subscribe to a projection source for FanDuel or Yahoo, you can cross-reference that to the PrizePicks fantasy score projections. So check them out. They take care of the channel, they take care of me, and they help keep this content free. So if you guys do decide to sign up, it would help us out if you use code Gundacker when you did sign up, and then of course as a token of gratitude, you'll be able to double your first deposit up to $100 instantly. No slow drip, none of that playthrough 7 times cash out via Korean medical parts check. Just don't tell the bank teller where it came from, right? It's all on the up and up. So if you're into what we've been talking about, you see some of the success stories on the screen every night. I'm getting lit up on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker, you can see the crew is eating. And in the RunDFS.com Discord, we have a dedicated PrizePicks channel where you guys can get into and share some of the fire plays. And over the course of the All-Star break, we've certainly seen you guys sharing all kinds of weird tickets and slips that involve NHL, college basketball, League of Legends, CSGO, all kinds of nonsense. So go check that out. Main event tonight, Nuggets at the Sacramento Kings. Project starting 5 for the Nuggets: Monte Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, Nikola Jokic up against De'Aaron Fox, Justin Holiday, Harrison Barnes, Mo. How could you be so heartless? Donda? Domantas Sabonis, 233.5 total, 3.5 point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. So a slate where we end up scoffing at a meager, modest 233 total because of two 240s, but heck, 233 total for a guy like Nikola Jokic in one of the nuttiest matchups on the year, the Sacramento Kings front court defense. Seems like a massive spot where Jokic might just drop 80 on us and be like, hey, I'm still that guy, pal. So he stands out. Usually don't have to get too creative with what else we get to on the Nuggets. Will Barton here and there. every now and then an Aaron Gordon, but for me, it's mainly Jokic. The question is Jokic too expensive? I think if he gets to 70 fantasy points, if he gets to 60 plus, raw points, that dog will hunt. I'm a believer. I'm a buyer on the Kings side. Sabonis and Fox have been the two guys for me that I lean on. Obviously, Aaron Gordon is their dog that they stick on top usage scoring guards even. So you might see some Gordon versus Fox action tonight, but Sabonis looks like an intriguing play. Harrison Barnes, an intriguing play. Raj, what do you do with this game? Is Jokic the ultimate late night hammer that just might drop 100 tonight?
Like I said, 230 total. I expect this game to be close. I think I love it. He's 12-5, so you're definitely paying for him. But I think the likelihood of him being the highest scorer on the slate, I think, is close to 80, 90% on this spot. So love Jokic here. I think he'll be a core piece for me. Again, the price tag is the only thing that's kind of holding me back from going, I say crazy, like 70, 80%. Mm-hmm. He'll definitely be a 50, 60%er for me in this spot. So give me all the Jokic here. Other than him, I'm probably staying away from the other Denver guy. I think Sacramento's side is interesting with Fox 8,300. With no Halliburton there doing the trade, he's just been chucking the ball. Past few games, real life points, 29, 27, 26, 26, 33. I think he's going to have to score the ball here at 8,300. He can definitely get you the peripherals to get there and give you a 50-point game. And I mean, other than that, I'm against Sabonis at 9K. I think is definitely interesting. I think this could be a 50 spot for him too. Playing him and Fox together, obviously expensive, but if both those guys can have ceiling games, I think it's very possible. Playing those guys together with Jokic seems impossible. Maybe on Fanduel, so the price there on DK, definitely not possible to make a comfortable lineup with those three. But I think Sabonis and Fox together are definitely in play.
Yeah. Josh, Denver Nuggets, I guess from a prize pick standpoint, like I said, when it comes to the Nuggets, I typically only care about Jokic. Jokic's lines aren't as massive as I thought they might be. 8.5 assists.
They were.
They were. They were.
When they opened.
Bet down.
Oh man, they were like crazy high. They had his PRA at 52, and then they had his rebounds at 14.5, and then close to 30 real life points. It was crazy.
So is there a reason why that's coming down here? Boogie listed as
people were betting under, I guess. I don't know.
I would never in my life want to sweat a Jokic under against the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah,
that's just I'm not built that way. Jokic 8.5 assists seems like we think about implied triple doubles, right? You never believe that it's, or you can't hold your breath for a triple double. But if Jokic is going to be Jokic against Sacramento Kings in this total, 8.5 assists, I can see the over on that pretty commonly. So maybe that's the line I'm leaning on. Anything on PrizePicks for this last game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on the assist, and then fantasy score. It's really high, so you're gonna have to really sweat it out to the end. But it's a great matchup. And then I guess for the other side, Fox is probably one of my core plays too today. I mean, he looks like being back to old Fox, aggressive. Ball dominant, getting to the basket and scoring at a high rate. So his point prop did open at 22.5 and got all the way up to 25, but it's back down to 24.5 if it's still there. That's probably my favorite one because his fantasy score, I think it's about a 4 or 5 fantasy point differential from your projection. So I'm probably going to stick with his point prop.
Yeah, it seems soft enough. All right, well, that is our slate. 7 games tonight. Remember, just 2 games in the first hour. 1 game at 7, 1 game at 7:30, and then the fun begins. So, should be a fun one to sweat out here. Tomorrow we are NBA schedule. Josh, you gonna be available normal time tomorrow?
I think so. I'll let you know.
All right. So if that's the case, then we will get back to our dedicated hour before the DFS show. PrizePicks show, that would be at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. And then we have 9 games on the docket for the league, featuring Thunder, night 2 of a back-to-back at the Pacers, Rockets, Magic. That'll be fun. Raptors and the Hornets, 40 minutes against the Hornets defense. That'll be fun. Spurs, Wizards, Heat, Knicks, Sixers, T-Wolves. T-Wolves back-to-back. Pelicans, Suns on a back-to-back tomorrow. Mavs at the Jazz, and then Clippers at the Lakers. Should be a fun slate, and we love the big slates, man. If they're going to keep feeding us these decent-sized slates, looking at Saturday, we got a decent 6-gamer on the main. On Sunday, no more NFL. Kind of an all-day staggered slate, so I'm not that excited about it. But on the opposite side here, the All-Star break, doesn't look like many 2-3 game slates coming in our future, so should be a lot of fun to grind as we really enjoy this period of just NBA for a little bit until hopefully, knock on wood, baseball at the end of March, man. Chat, anything else here? Top 5 player props says Sleazy. Just from instant memory, I think Trae Young assists, Capella fantasy points. What else, Josh? Help fill the gap here.
Eight in fantasy points, or you can get on his rebound. And then Devin Booker, I have, and then did you have one? Raj?
Oh, Raj, your favorite?
Kind of core favorite props. Honestly, probably Devin Booker's point prop. I just think he's going to go nuclear today. 40 real life points. Gotta love it.
Arizona says, give me all Looney and Watford. Josh, that's you. Josh says, good luck, everyone. Thoughts on Forbes as a cheap play? Ooh, man, I did not think I'd be punting much at guard today if it wasn't like Rondo, Jetty, Holiday. So I probably don't get to Bryn Forbes here. I think if you're a punt play on a slate this size, if you're not going to offer me 30 more often than you don't, I'm probably not that invested. Was there a instant correlation to Forbes' big minutes last game? Let's see, Denver minute rotation against the Warriors. Monte Morris played 31 minutes. Did they just go super small at times here? Yeah. No, just Forbes was 29 minutes off the bench, closed out over Will Barton. So that probably doesn't happen, right? And Jeff Green. So I don't remember what happened that game, but it seems like he wouldn't close out over Barton more often than not. But maybe that's something worth looking into. Kazar Khan says, Guns the GOAT. Appreciate that. That'll be it, man. We'll be back tomorrow. If you guys got anything else for me, twitter.com/Gundacker. I'm out of here. We're headed to the Discord voice chat for another couple hours, making our lineups, making that player pool. Get in there at rundfs.com. I appreciate you guys making part of my day, part of our day, be part of your day. Be safe out there. Tell somebody you love them. I love you. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.